Hello everybody, my name is Pi. Welcome to another video on SLR Lounge where we're here to help you be a better photographer. Now in this video, we're doing a review of the Bolt VB-22s. We got these guys from B&H, and I actually had my good friend at B&H, Yehiel, called me up and he said, Pi, you gotta try these things out. They are fantastic. And I said, okay, send them over and I will try them out. Now, when we get stuff like this, whenever we do reviews, we don't do reviews like right as soon as products come out because we want to actually test them. We want to use them over time. We want to see how they perform in real world situations, especially when it comes to, well, products like Chinese-made brands that might not be the same type of quality that we need for professional use. So we want to put them through their paces. We did that with these guys. We've taken these now on, I think, around 15 shoots, and they've been absolutely fantastic. So it's time to do a review and it's time to talk about them. Now here is the Bolt VB-22. It's kind of Frankensteinish actually. He has like this bolt sticking out, or this bulb sticking out of his head, and he looks, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Okay, so what is this strobe and why does it look so different from every other type of strobe? This is what we would call a medium strobe. Now we kind of classify strobes in different categories. We call small strobes that you'd put on like your camera flash, your off-camera flashes and so forth. Those guys we call pocket strobes, okay? These guys we call medium strobes, and then we have the bigger guys that we use in the studio, we refer to as studio strobes. Doesn't matter really what you call it, this is just what we call it in our studio. Don't hate us for it. Don't be a playa hater. Okay, so this guy is equivalent to around 4 to 5 pocket strobes, okay? It has a guide number of about 260. Guide numbers, in case you're wondering, in case you haven't seen Lighting 101 or Lighting 201, well, actually, those aren't released yet, but they're coming soon, so be sure to check them out. But in case you haven't seen those, the guide number is basically the kind of output of a flash. Now, a typical guide number for a pocket strobe is around 50 to 60, okay? Now, most pocket strobes, really doesn't matter what they advertise. We've done a big, giant test on them, and they're really around 50 to 60. There's not a lot of variation between even Chinese brands versus name brands versus major brands, okay? With these guys, you're getting around a guide number 250 to 260. And when we tested it out, you indeed get 4 to 5 times the power. That's absolutely fantastic because they're very portable. Here is the battery pack for the Bolt VB-22. This is the Cyclone PP400DR. Why do they give these things such weird freaking names, man? Why can't it just be the Cyclone? Cyclone battery pack. Cyclone BP. Good enough for me. Okay, either way, well, let's get out of the naming thing. So these things plug in via these little coiled cables, all right? And you would power, or you'd basically control them with your radio trigger. These guys are manual flashes. They do not have radio triggers built in, and that means that one of the expenses to using them is getting a radio triggering system. For that, we use the PocketWizard Plus 3 system because it's our favorite, it's what we have on hand, and it works really, really well. So let's start talking about all the individual functionality, everything that's going to go into this review, starting with the performance. Performance-wise, when we got this unit, again, we expected to get 4 or 5 times the flash power out of this unit from all the boasting that we heard about. And we indeed got that amount of power. We did a straight side-by-side test, and this is equivalent to roughly 4 to 5 full power strobes. But we still gave the performance side a 3 out of 5 stars. Why? Now 3 out of 5 stars, remember, 3 is not bad. 3 is average, okay? So based on what this is intended to do, it's intended to be a medium strobe. So it's intended to be roughly 250 watt seconds worth of power, guide number 260, so forth. It does that. But the thing is that it has kind of a slow recycle time. We were getting roughly 7 to 8 second recycles on full power shots. So from shot to shot, it was roughly around there. Now, of course, if you're not shooting full power, and full power on this, remember, is equivalent to like 5 pocket strobes. You often, unless you're overpowering the sun with a modifier, you don't need to be shooting full power. But when shooting full power, we're roughly around 7 seconds for the recycle, which is quite slow. When compared to like, say, a pocket strobe, it's 2 to 3 seconds. When compared to, say, a Profoto B2 pack, or B1, we're looking at like 2 seconds. So that's a little bit below average on this side. Also, Flash consistency, meaning like if we pop at 8 seconds every single time, do we get the exact same light output? Flash consistency was a little bit off in both kind of intensity and slight bit in color. Now again, most of you that are not shooting for, say, a magazine or advertising type stuff where you need perfect color and perfect flash output and consistency, most of you aren't going to notice this. But it's something that we look for in a flash just because we want to see, is it above average, is it average, or is it below average? And pretty much across the board, performance-wise, it did what it's expected to, but it didn't go beyond that. So we're giving it 3 out of 5 stars. All right, so let's move on to features. Now, when it comes to features, this is a manual flash. So as a manual medium power strobe, we're kind of giving it, again, 3 out of 5 stars because it has what you would expect and not really any more or not really any less. What do we have on this? Well, we have our battery connection, of course. We also have sync ports, and that's the nice thing is that we do get both the 3.5, I think it's 3. Yeah, not 2.5, 3.5 millimeter sync port, just the standard stereo jack, I think 1/8 inch stereo jack. We also have PC sync, which I despise. I hate PC sync. It's such an old and outdated and unreliable sync solution. But in case you do use it, it does have it. Okay, we have our battery on this side, and we also have just a USB option on this side for plugging in, I assume for firmware updates and so forth. And then the other thing that it has is basically just a 1/4-20 mount, both on the bottom and on the side of the unit, which is quite nice actually. But other than that, it's very simple. So there's not really a lot to kind of get super excited about. It has what you'd expect it to. From a button standpoint, you have basic buttons to control power. It's easy to use. You don't need to read any manuals. It comes, you power it up, and you use it. But when it comes to modification-wise, that's the one area where you're gonna do a little bit of jimmy rigging, okay? Because with a system like this, there's not like a set up type of, you know, just a large set of modifiers are designed specifically for this. Bolt is coming out with a lot of modifiers, and it comes with one of these guys. It also, you can get like little snoots, you can get beauty dishes, you can get everything Bolt made, which basically they pop into the top, and it's fairly easy to use. You just pop it right on the top, give it a little turn, and then you lock it in place. It's a really nice and simple to use system, but when it comes to using it with other types of modification, you do need to kind of look around, make sure that it's gonna fit. Now, the best solution that we've found in the studio is our ProPhoto RFI speed ring. We have a lot of solutions in the studio. This one, though, has these little bolts on the back, and if you take off the, well, it has flash brackets on them, but if you take them off, you'll find that they're just basically 1/4-20 bolts, and these screw directly into the bottom of the bolts. So the bolts screw into the bottom of the bolts. That's a confusing name for a brand, gosh dang it. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually mount 2 of these side by side, and what do we call this guy? When we put this on a stand, which we use in Lighting 201, we put it basically onto a monopod, put 2 of them in here with a ProPhoto RFI 3-foot softbox. We call this our big boomstick. What we call our lights when we put them on sticks, we call them sticks. And this is a big boomstick because we get basically 10 pocket strobes with the 2 heads. That's the equivalent power. Okay, so that's kind of the ideal modifier for this, other than the Bolt setup that you can basically purchase all the additional modifiers. So again, from a feature standpoint, it's good. It's what you'd expect basically. No more, no less, so we're giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Now let's talk about the overall design. I'm actually quite pleased with the design of the unit, especially the button placement and menu systems. Again, very simple to use. Get it right out of the box. It's easy and intuitive. You can turn on and off the beeping sound. You have your power. I mean, it's a manual flash, so what really can you do with it other than just adjust power up and down? So I'm glad they left it very simple. You have power adjustments via this little dial, which is actually quite nice, because you can go from full power all the way to 1/128th power very quickly and very easily just by dialing it up and down rather than having to press a button over and over and over and over. So I like that. The design side on the top. Now I know exactly why they did this. You'll notice that the flash bulb is protruding like this. Bulb designs like this are intended so that if a bulb burns out, it's very easy to replace. So you just buy another bulb, pop it in, and you're good to go. The only thing is that it's difficult to carry around. I mean, if I were to put this in my Pelican, right, I'd kind of be worried about things constantly falling into this, bashing into it, and so forth. And there's not really a small protective option that just fits right over this other than, like, say, the modifier that it comes with. And that makes it a lot bigger. So from that side, it's just a little bit tricky to kind of port around. But still, from a design side, we're giving it 4 out of 5 stars because it functions well. It's we take that average point and it does things just a little bit better than the average with its kind of modification system and so forth. So we're giving it 4 out of 5. Let's move on to overall quality. Overall quality, we're giving this 5 out of 5 stars. These units, when you get them, they have a good amount of weight to them. They're using great, well, I think these are plastics in the design, but they're good, high quality plastics. All of our mounts and everything that's important has metal. It's a good and high quality product, and hence we're giving it 5 out of 5 stars on that side. We haven't had a single unit break or any issues like that. Now finally, let's move on to value, and for value, again, we're giving it 5 out of 5 stars. Why? The unit is $500, and it is, well, $500 with the battery. And there's a lot of cheaper flashes out there, but again, value is not based upon being cheap. Value is based upon what this does in conjunction with other types of competitors and so forth. And even when we look at the cheapest flash options, like let's say a $100 newer flash, or let's say a $70 Yongnuo flash, we need 5 of those. 5 of those to compete with the power here. Now that's gonna run you $350 or so, and plus you gotta get a radio trigger, you gotta figure out how you're gonna control them. When it comes to larger, or let's say our workhorse strobe, a Mitros Plus, again, we need 5 of those, and that would be very expensive. That's $2,000. With this, for $500, we're getting the equivalent of 5 strobes of power, but with manual functionality and so forth at a much smaller price point. So $500 is really quite a great deal, because even when you add in all the additional accessories, so for example, if you want to run 2 bolt flashes off of a single battery pack, you're looking around $850. Now what you can do is you can also get a radio trigger. So let's say we have to factor in the cost of our radio triggers into that price. So each of these are $150. You get one for your camera, you get one to control both these flashes. You need a splitter cable to do that, okay? Splitter cables just split that cable coming from the Pocket Wizard into both of these. So that way you need one Pocket Wizard to set up both of these, or to control both these. Okay, so with that, you're looking at another $300 for radio control. All right, so what does that put us at? We're around $1,150. Then you're gonna need a speed ring or modification system. So for the Pro Photos and for say a 3-foot RFI, you're looking at another, say, $400 to $500, depending on which ones you buy. So let's just say roughly you're in the $1,500 to $1,700 range for 10 pocket strobes worth of power with nice modification, okay? Again, comparing this to other units, well, if we were to do this with Mitros Pluses, it'd just be very difficult and cumbersome because you have 10 flashes to control. I don't know how you'd mount that many flashes onto a single modifier. It's just not possible. Plus, the cost gets very prohibitive. To get that much power, we're looking at just $4,000 for the flashes themselves. If we look to systems like the ProPhoto B2, it's a fantastic new system that we're doing a full review on. But again, you're looking at a much higher price point. For that same amount of power, you're gonna be looking at, say, $3,500. Now that system comes with TTL functionality, and it's a professional system with professional everything, so it's designed for a different kind of usage. But still, this comes in at a very nice price point, where if you're looking for something that's reliable, usable, it's a fantastic product to look at. And for that reason, we're giving the Bolt VB-22 4 out of 5 stars. It is by far above average. It's offered at a great value, and it does something that really not that many other medium strobes are doing on the market today. So for that, well, it's definitely worth looking at. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this little review. Again, be sure to check out Lighting 101, Lighting 201, and all of our lighting courses, which are gonna be absolutely, well, fantastic. They're gonna blow you away when it comes to the education that we are teaching. Also, follow us on Facebook, not only on our media page, but also in our Facebook group, where we have the best and most positive educational community in the entire world. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow me, Pi Jirsa, on Facebook as well. And I will see you all in the next video.